Look at how this fish moves. You'd never guess that just 72 hours ago it was completely paralyzed. This is a zebrafish, and earlier in the week, scientists had entirely severed its spinal cord. That level of trauma is a devastating reality for tens of millions of people worldwide who live with severe spinal cord injuries. For decades, the medical consensus has been that once those major nerve pathways are cut, the damage is permanent, leaving patients with no real curative treatments. The problem actually starts with the body's own defense mechanisms. The moment an injury occurs, the body rushes to heal the site by rapidly generating scar tissue. In the spinal cord, that scar tissue acts like a thick concrete wall. It actively blocks surviving nerve fibers from ever growing back together. Unless researchers can find a way to physically bridge that biological barricade, the severed connections stay broken. Researchers at the University of Zurich have developed a potential workaround, a new class of biohybrid robots they call NPC bots. These are living biological entities built from neural progenitor cells, essentially a specialized type of stem cell. This shows their scale. Each cell is 6 micrometers across, roughly the width of a human red blood cell. Every single cell is coated in hundreds of engineered nanoparticles. These individual particles are impossibly small, measuring barely 100 nanometers wide. The challenge for the Zurich team was figuring out how a microscopic cell wearing nanoscale armor could punch through a massive wall of scar tissue. Looking closely at a single nanoparticle, we find two main components. The center is an inner core made of cobalt ferrite. Cobalt ferrite is magnetostrictive. If you apply a magnetic field, the material reacts by physically deforming and warping. To trigger this, researchers apply an alternating magnetic field from completely outside the body, passing harmlessly through the surrounding tissue. That inner core acts like an internal antenna, taking invisible magnetic waves passing through the room and turning them into mechanical movement at the nanoscale. Surrounding that moving core is an incredibly thin outer shell, made of a ceramic called barium titanate, measuring just 7 nanometers thick. Barium titanate is piezoelectric. When it gets physically squeezed or deformed, it generates a tiny electric charge. Because the magnetic field is alternating, the inner core expands and contracts in a continuous loop, repeatedly pushing against the outer shell to pump out steady pulses of electricity. Together, this two-layer system functions as a microscopic power plant, delivering highly concentrated electrical shocks directly onto the surface of the living stem cell underneath. When those localized electrical impulses hit the stem cell, it jolts the biological machinery into action. This diagram shows the cell membrane. The electrical stimulation forces tiny channels along the cell's surface to open up, allowing a massive rush of calcium to flow inside. That sudden influx of calcium acts as a set of chemical instructions. It tells the cell to start adapting to its new environment and securely embed itself into the surrounding damaged tissue. As it adapts, the stem cell differentiates, transforming into a mature neuronal cell and physically extending long branching nerve fibers called axons. Those newly grown axons function as organic cables. They stretch directly across the gap in the scar tissue, reconnecting the broken circuitry and restoring the primary communication pathway between the brain and the body. To test this mechanism, scientists injected about 300 of these individual NPC bots directly into the severed spinal cords of the zebrafish. Within exactly 3 days, those injected fish showed a near-complete recovery of complex swimming behaviors. While these initial results are highly promising, translating successes from animal models in a lab into approved human trials is a process that requires years of rigorous safety testing. But it proves a new approach to repairing severe trauma. Instead of trying to mechanically stitch severed nerves together through surgery, doctors can remotely pilot living biomachines to rebuild the human nervous system from the inside out.